That upper area right there, yeah.
Up in there.
We could see in the distance what looked like a shadow figure or, a person standing on the second floor.
I'm wondering what's setting off the cameras.
If it's back at the tree line, that thing's pretty big. Whoa, 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 whoa. Middle of the day, an orb like that, that's crazy.
There's something about those two spots and the point where it dips into the ground 1,000 feet.
That's amazing. Wow.
There is a ranch in northern Utah. It is considered the epicenter of the strangest and most disturbing phenomena on Earth. Animal mutilations, bizarre UFO sightings, and unusual energies that have proven harmful to humans. For 20 years, the federal government tried to find answers and failed. Now, a new team of dedicated scientists, researchers, and experts has taken over. They are determined to solve the mystery and reveal the secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay, so here we go.
Come on over, Pete.
What you got for me?
I'm glad you're here because Eric was telling us that you got some new equipment that can help us maybe better identify what lies below the ground here.
With a particular interest in spots that have been disturbed, perhaps in the past.
Last week,
we're going to use you today as part of an experiment.
we conducted an experiment with former Skinwalker Ranch investigator Jay Stratton to see if the property would respond in some way to his presence.
Y'all in?
You are cleared for takeoff.
We took him on a tour where he had experienced phenomena when he was here over a decade ago, and we were shocked by the results.
Now, I'm going to bring up the data generated during your visit.
The GPS data we recorded during the tour went several hundred feet underground between Homestead Two and the drill site at the mesa.
Wow.
So now, Eric Bard arranged for technologist Pete Kelsey to come back out to help us search for anything strange or unnatural beneath that location.
Pete, fill us in on what you've got.
Yeah, multispectral.
What does it do?
Well, it's designed really to work in agriculture. If the soil under plants has been disturbed, they will show up differently in the multispectral imagery.
A drone-based multispectral camera is designed to image different wavelengths of light. By scanning the ground, it can build a geophysical model of the surface that could help us identify any evidence of past excavations or even underground structures like tunnels.
The multispectral camera, it's typically used on farms and for agriculture to determine the health, if you will, of the crops. But because plants grow differently over soil that's been disturbed at some point in time, it's an amazing tool for archaeology. I've got colleagues who have found Roman ruins under wheat fields in England.
Wow.
If we're lucky, things will jump out in this field that we'd never see otherwise.
That's what we're after.
I'm excited to get you to work and get that scan. I'd love to see what you find. It's very interesting to me to see the GPS data from the experiment that we did with Jay Stratton.
That'll work.
And it's at this very point that we see the GPS start diving underground.
You can slide them in the back if you want.
I'm really curious to see Pete Kelsey's data. What would make the GPS go below the surface here?
That is a multispectral camera.
That's it, huh?
Wow. The stories that have been shared with us about this region of the property suggest that there is, in fact, a concentration of unusual phenomenology that begins at the mesa and extends all the way out to the homesteads. Is there some kind of a connection between these two locations? Hopefully, this exercise will help us to sort that out.
I'm going to power up.
Pete's multispectral scan was going to take a couple of hours to complete. So while Eric supervised that process,
Hey, Joe.
How you doing?
Thomas Winterton, Dragon, and Caleb Bench led our colleague Joe Loeb out to the Mesa drill site.
So, you got the drill?
Got in the back of the truck already.
Over the past couple of years, Joe has been helping Dragon and Caleb with ranch security, but he's also a professional drill operator. So Thomas and Eric asked him to try to help us with our new strategy to figure out what could be buried inside the mesa.
We've got a water truck or two coming here in a little bit. So really, we'll get the drill up there. We'll find a place that you feel like you can get it set up that's right over top of the anomaly. So if we can get right in that area and then drill down on top of it, that's our hope.
Okay.
How fast do you think you can drill 40 feet?
We're working with sandstone and who knows what else through this area right here in the mesa. So it could take 1 foot an hour.
Okay. So the rocks aren't going to be an issue, it'll just slow it down.
Yeah.
Using ground-penetrating radar, we've identified 2 possibly metallic anomalies buried in the mesa. One is about 400 feet long, and we believe that it's shaped like a dome.
Yeah, I'm up against something pretty hard right now. It could even be maybe a dome.
We've conducted 2 drilling operations trying to penetrate it, and we failed both times. But we did collect small fragments that are made of the same kind of materials that NASA uses to protect the space shuttles from the extreme heat of re-entry from outer space.
Oh, my.
And behind that, we've identified something in a vertical position that's over 100 feet tall and about 40 feet below the surface of the mesa.
Look at that.
Since we couldn't penetrate the dome-shaped object, Joe has brought out a manually operated drill that we hope can reach the vertical anomaly from the top and help us identify just what it is.
We've got 1,000+ pounds of stuff to get up there. I guess we should get it unloaded and get started.
Let's do it.
Okay. So is this the heaviest part?
Yes.
Oh, sheesh. It's not gonna be fun. 6 years, I've heard all kinds of crazy stories about this mesa. Spacecraft going in it, tunnels, caverns, underground bases. We've seen the mesa light up. Definitely makes me wonder what's going on inside the mesa.
Dude, where's Cameron's helicopter?
Well, we got to pump water to the top of the hill here. You think you can pump it?
Well, we're crazy enough to try it, so.
Okay.
Let it go! Yeah!
Here it comes.
The way that this drill works is they pump water, which makes a lubrication for this thing to be able to drill through and keep the bit cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot of work getting this pump and this drill rig up on top of the mesa. I'm really hopeful that all the sweat and effort that's gone into it pays off with results.
We'll fire this up.
There it goes.
Okay.
Given the nature of the dirt and the sandstone here, it's proving again on Skinwalker Ranch that nothing is easy. I've asked Joe if he would stay up here on top of the mesa and keep working this drill. We're not making a lot of headway right now, but if anyone can do it, he can, and we're hopeful that we'll get some results.
We'll just keep grinding on this right now.
All right. So Caleb and I are gonna do a patrol on the south side of the property.
Okay. Well, we'll get out of your way and let you start punching a hole.
I'll be curious to see if we see anything on our trail cams, especially given that weird silver orb thing, whatever that was.
Yeah, I agree.
Over the last several weeks, the south field of the ranch has become a hotbed of strange activity.
Whoa, what was that purple light over there?
First, Thomas saw a flashing purple light during a nighttime experiment just a few feet off the ground.
Oh, we got it again.
And when he went to investigate it,
That is flashing, whatever that is.
Caleb and I saw a UAP in the sky right above him that seemed to track his movements. Several days later, Thomas and Caleb found the remains of a dead deer and noticed a fence post that had been burned by something that had to be as hot as lightning, but inexplicably didn't burn anything else around it.
What the heck would have burned this post?
And just last week, while checking the footage of the new cameras that we set up in the area,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Back that up.
Dragon and Caleb saw a silver-colored object near the ground right near where Thomas saw the purple light.
What? And I don't think it's a bad thing for us to get out on foot and go cruise around here and see if there's anything that looks out of place.
I completely agree. Well, there's a lot of area through here you can only cover on foot, though.
Right. Well, as long as the only thing we're finding is signs of actual wildlife that's supposed to be here, I'm okay with that.
Right.
It's the other kind that I'm worried about.
Property line's not too much farther.
Hey, Caleb. What the heck?
It looks fresh to me.
Holy crap, that just happened. That's strange. Like, holy crap, that just happened. It's the second young one that's dead. Right, it's not too far from the last one that was strange by the burnt post. You know what, Caleb, I'm just gonna take a few shots with my camera so we can show the vet.
Yeah. Makes me wonder about the coloration on some of these bones too. Flipping them over and they're pink like that, or reddish.
Yep. With all the activity we've seen in the South Fields recently, given the fact we found this mysterious burnt post, this dead deer, this strange silver object, it looks like an orb, and that purple light, it's all starting to connect a little bit. So I'll be curious to hear what the vet thinks of it all. Should we head back?
Yeah.
Okay. Get back to it.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, man.
You get those photos sent off to Haley? Is that?
Yeah, I got those sent over. I'll see if I can get her on Zoom. Hi, Haley.
How are you?
Good. I know you're probably tired of us sending you pictures of dead deer, but on this side of the property, we've got two that don't seem to be your typical, you know, at least from our estimation, predator kills. So what do you think of the latest pictures we sent you?
It's hard to say from just pictures, but it looks like a similar size as far as the actual deer is, but I feel like the story is fairly different overall.
Okay.
These bones have a lot more trauma to them. I would say there's more signs that either predation happened or there were bigger animals attacking this animal.
Interesting.
I think the scapula is really interesting. So the scapula is the shoulder blade. There are two large holes towards the top of that scapula. And so when I look at that, I go, well, are those canine holes or teeth holes? You know, that would be a very strong animal if that were the case.
Are coyotes, do they get big enough where they could possibly do this, or were we talking about something bigger than that?
I would suspect that it would be something bigger than that.
Wow. We definitely have also heard stories of big wolves and things of that nature. You know, if you're talking about that type of an animal, that opens up a whole different type of discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard so many stories about things that happened in the past from the Sherman family that lived here on the ranch when all sorts of strange things were really happening. So the way the story goes is Mr. Sherman and his son, they had just had some of their prized cattle that had calves. Across the field, they saw what looked like a great big wolf. And we're talking its head standing 4 or 5 feet off the ground. People equate it to a dire wolf. And then one of their prized calves got near the rails of the corral, and the wolf reached in and grabbed it by its snout. So Mr. Sherman pulled out a .357 revolver, shot it the full 6 rounds, and the wolf still did not drop the calf. So he had his son run in the house and get his .30-06 hunting rifle. Finally, after the second shot, the wolf dropped the calf, went trotting off and then basically disappearing into nothing as if the thing had just kind of vaporized.
The other issue is if these are bigger predators, cats, wolves, or otherwise, then they're not afraid to go after humans as well. So you definitely have to make sure you guys are safe.
Dr. Lundgren, thank you so much for taking the time. We really value and appreciate your opinion on this stuff, and I'm sure that we'll be reaching out again if you'll allow us to.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you so much.
Idle up. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
The next day, while we were waiting for Pete Kelsey to present the data from his multispectral scans, Caleb Bench, Dragon, and Thomas Winterton hiked up to the top of the mesa to check in with Joe Loeb on the progress of his drilling operation.
We're sitting right on top of that GPR anomaly that Jan showed us. So is it drilling then?
A little bit.
A little bit?
It's doing that 3 inches an hour.
All right.
It might just be a heavy rock right up here. Since we catch that bite where it holds in tight.
It's gonna take a while. Slow but steady.
We're just grinding through this rock right now. We gotta bust through that crust to get it stabilized.
Well, you're ready to have a conversation with Pete Kelsey and review some data with us?
Always ready.
Later that afternoon, Eric gathered us all in the command center after Pete Kelsey told him he had fully processed the data from the scans between the Mesa drill site and Homestead 2.
Hey,
there, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, guys.
Well, as usual, we're in suspense.
So this is one look at the data, the multispectral data we flew.
Hey, Pete, what's the color scale mean?
Essentially, where it's bright is where, frankly, the grass or the hay is doing really well. Where it's bright, the grass is doing well. Where it's dark, it's really dry and the grass or hay isn't doing so well. So to cut to the chase, after looking at this for a while, what stands out is a perfect circle.
Look right there by the bait pin. There are 3 circles that are just absolutely circled. Look to the left of the bait pin.
Yep.
Just to the west.
Yep. I can play with the spectrum to make this more obvious.
Yeah, right there. They look unnatural.
What's interesting about this, well, among other things, is where it is. It's right across from the drill site.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
Look right there by the bait pin. There are 3 circles. Yeah, right there.
If I play with the colorization a little bit, you can see how I can make this look like this.
Okay. The 3 circular formations in Pete Kelsey's multispectral scans between the Mesa drill site and Homestead 2 were really odd, especially because they were in the same area where we got all the bizarre GPS data during our tour with Jay Stratton.
We're talking about these circular.
Yeah, those are the ones that really stand out.
Yeah, they really do. They do look out of place.
And that's right across from the drill site.
I mean, I'm not a botanist, but how's that going to happen naturally?
And at this spot right here, if you recall, that's where Jay's GPS data went way underground, maybe as much as a quarter of a mile.
That's really interesting.
It's clear that someone or something has disturbed the ground where these circles were identified. Now, it could be that they were simply left by old grain silos that previous ranchers had used there.
Right over there by that tree.
But it also reminded me of when retired local sheriff Chris Porritt visited the ranch 2 years ago. He shared an incredible story about something he saw back in the 1980s, not far from the south field where we found the deer carcasses, saw the purple light near the ground, and the UAP in the sky above Thomas.
So this is the spot.
There was matted grass where something heavy had sat in these weeds and made an impression in the dirt. 23 feet tip to tip. I presumed that it was a spaceship. I said it, didn't I?
Pete, are there any other circular features that stand out so clearly as these beside the bait pit?
Not as clearly, as well defined as these.
Who knows? Maybe these circles have a mundane explanation. But since they appeared in the same area where the GPS data from our ranch tour with Jay Stratton inexplicably went underground, we need to investigate them and look for any other anomalies in the data.
You got any other cool spots?
I do. So the next bit is right here.
Just to the west, yeah.
This is Homestead 2 right here.
Okay.
What I see that doesn't quite fit is down here. There's a horizontal line right here.
Pete, go to the grayscale view. Hold on a minute, Pete. It's actually 4 lines. If you look closely, you got the top one and then the one right under it's kind of broken in the dark spot there. Yep. And then there's the one under that and then the bottom one. It might even be 5 lines.
It's just strange.
So, Pete, I'm just wondering, what do you think those lines are?
Well, if that's some kind of a depression, that's going to pool water and the plants will grow differently.
The lines Pete detected just west of the strange circles and to the south of our drill site in the mesa also didn't look like anything that would have formed in nature. We couldn't tell from this data how deep they were from the surface, but it looked like somebody or something created them. The question was, could they be what made the GPS data from our tour with Jay Stratton go deep underground?
Now, Thomas, when you walk in that area there where we see those lines from left to right, have you picked up on anything? Is there anything about the ground that stands out to you?
I can't say that I've noticed anything out there.
You look everywhere else where the water runs, it looks more natural and random, but you look at that spot, it looks like it was a cut channel.
That suggests man-made to me. Anything that linear, that orthogonal, that to me suggests somebody dug a trench. The other thing that maybe it's not so obvious is they're on a perfect east-west line. What are the odds of that?
Could it be when Bigelow was here? Maybe Bigelow dug there?
Good question.
So does that mean that this space has already been searched?
It makes me think that maybe it has been.
But guys, I mean, this is in the area. We were told not to dig.
Right.
2 years ago,
there is an actual location on the ranch where the Sherman said not to dig.
The current ranch owner, Brandon Fugel, was warned that disturbing the ground in this same area near Homestead 2 would cause dangerous phenomena to occur. The Shermans worked the ranch before and during the Bigelow investigations from the late 1990s to the early 2000s. A lot of the details of that era have still never been released to the public. So, could these anomalies in the field near Homestead 2 be related to digging operations conducted by that team? And also explain why they said no one should ever dig there? There might be only one way to find out.
After looking at this, I think that maybe Bigelow was out here doing some digging. So it's not hard for me to believe that they were out here searching for something as well.
I think there's some excavation we could do there. But now, since we know their lines went east and west, I think we ought to start and go north and south and dig some swipes.
See if we can intersect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to get down in that plane and see what those differences really are if they go deeper than the surface.
Yeah, if it's compacted and then it's loose, right? And then we'd know they dug there before.
So are we all in agreement then? We want to go out and dig those couple spots?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make some arrangements and we'll get an excavator out here and we'll go out and dig.
Okay.
Yeah, love it.
We'll just keep grinding on this right now.
Yep, sending you guys water. Let me know if you get good pressure up there.
We're good for a little bit.
The following morning, while Joe Loeb continued drilling into the top of the mesa, the rest of us joined Thomas Winterton out in the field near Homestead 2 where he was waiting with a 3-ton excavator. We were eager to start digging to see just what all these anomalies under the surface could be.
Well, the lines are over there, because that hole, right, that pile of dirt right there is between the bottom two, right?
I think it's right here.
I don't know, where you think about digging?
Well, my thoughts would be to start about right here and do a trench, probably back to where you're at, Travis.
We'll get started, Thomas. You get yourself in place.
Before we start disturbing the earth, we want to make sure that we have all the monitoring equipment in place to detect anything that we might stir up as a result of the digging.
Are you monitoring 1.6 right now?
I am right now.
This data we've received from Pete is really amazing stuff, and we're all anxious to see what in the world it could be about. But the fact that this is leading to another digging exercise on Skinwalker Ranch really kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I don't know what it is about digging, but we need to be very careful and tread lightly.
Let's get digging. Let's get digging.
Ever since the first day I was involved in the investigation of Skinwalker Ranch, I was told bad things happen when you dig here. But after seeing Pete Kelsey's multispectral data scans showing 5 mysterious lines in the field just east of Homestead 2, we knew we had to take a risk and dig.
That's good topsoil.
Yeah.
We need to know what these lines actually are and how they might be connected to all the strange phenomena that people have encountered in this section of the ranch over the years.
Caleb, you want to see what's right there? Is that just rocks?
I'm seeing some coloration in there. Yeah, it's like there's a layer of it or something. And you can see it, especially right there. There was a consistent layer of some kind of material. I don't know what this material is, but we've done some digging on other areas of the ranch, and it is different than what we are seeing in other places.
Okay, well, maybe another 20 feet.
Yeah.
Find something, Caleb?
He's been getting some, like, striations. It starts about right there.
Oh, yeah, right there. But does it stop? No, wait a minute.
Did you find some?
There's something different in the dirt right here. So look, Thomas, the clay-looking stuff stops right there.
Yep.
And it starts right here. And that would be where the line is. So the line would be like this, and that's the line. And it's about bulldozer width, too. Hey, guys, y'all come look at this.
What do you got? You find a discontinuity?
Yeah. See this gray clay stuff, and it stops right there.
Yeah.
I'm looking through here, and I'm not seeing anything like...
No, there's nothing like that through here.
It's a layer.
Definitely a layer.
And it's about bulldozer width.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
We have some layer very near the anomaly that we got out of Pete Kelsey's survey. That's pretty interesting. It's obvious that this is a spot that we really need to learn as much as we can about.
There you go. Right there's a piece of it right there.
It's got some really fine crystalline material in it.
There's a crystal in there, absolutely, because it glistens in the sunlight. So what is that doing just in that spot?
Yeah, why is there 5 stripes of it in the field?
Yeah. What on earth is, I mean...
You wouldn't think that would make an effect on the vegetation.
Yeah, but why is it here?
Yeah, why is it here?
That's it.
Yeah, why isn't it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's a telltale sign of something, but of what? I don't know.
Neither Eric nor I had any idea what to make of the grayish material we uncovered in the field just east of Homestead 2. But it definitely corresponded with the lines we saw in Pete Kelsey's multispectral scans of the area.
And if nothing else, it tells us how accurate that multispectral data is. That's pretty impressive.
That's amazing.
Well, are you going to run another one on this side to see if it continues on?
Probably should, huh? We could go over closer to the tree and dig that way.
If you hit another stripe back there, Thomas, then we may have found these lines.
Okay, well, I'll take the excavator over there and we'll dig a trench over there.
We'll see you over there, man.
Now that we've intersected the first line, we need to go to the other end of it and do another cross-section dig. That way, we can confirm that what we're finding here continues just as the data shows. As of now, we're all stumped as to what in the heck this stuff could be.
This is as close as I want to get to this tree, so I'm not getting into some heavy roots.
Yeah.
We'll dig it back a ways and see if we can find those same layers.
All right, well, we'll get out of your way, Thomas.
Okay.
They should be all coming in right in here. Can you see it? Me either.
Yeah, look at that right there.
Hey, Thomas, stop.
You see something?
Yeah, it's a big piece of something.
It's hard for me to believe that's Mother Nature. It's hard for me to believe that's Mother Nature.
Yeah, but is it that same material?
It doesn't break like the other stuff.
There's a metal post right behind you.
Yep, it's the stuff.
It's the same stuff. Looks just like it.
Well, it's a good sample.
Real good sample. Well, I'm gonna make sure Eric gets this.
We didn't know what to expect from Pete's multispectral data, but it's pretty amazing. What in the world are those lines, and why are they here?
Sounds like you guys got something.
We can't think of mundane explanations why a farmer would dig 5 straight lines in a field and put this, you know, gray, silvery, shiny rock in there, and there's no, it makes no sense.
That you can only see in the multispectrum.
Right. We would just think about it. We would have never even thought about this, but having that multispectral data, and we look at it, we see these lines, we come look for it, we find it. Why is it there?
So I know your wheels are already turning. Maybe you've got some ideas about what's going on here.
Eric was right. I was trying to come up with some reason for these straight lines of crystal-like materials that looked very clearly deposited.
2 thoughts.
Okay.
And both of them are a little bit crazy. Imagine maybe during the Bigelow era, they were doing some classified program, and they dug straight lines, put this reflective material in it, then covered it all up so they could look at it with a classified sensor from space or high altitude.
Okay.
But that's a stretch. To what end, what purpose, how would you do that, why would you do that, and the technology wasn't there yet. The other one is if you were an advanced civilization and you were marking an area for some reason and you didn't want the indigenous population to know about it, you would put it in a way that is in plain sight. We would have never found it had we not had the multispectral technology to find it there. And that's how we found it. Who's to say it's not reflective in some other phenomenology that's more advanced than the multispectral thing? It might be a bright beacon of 5 lines out here in the field that you can see from way up above it.
Yeah.
Right? Why in this one spot, why convergent right here at this tree? I find that weird.
These 5 perfect stripes in this field make about as much sense to me as that big dome object in the mesa.
I came to Skinwalker Ranch as a skeptic 4 years ago, but after seeing more UAPs than I can count and detecting all kinds of mysterious frequencies, some of which may be communication signals, I don't know what to think anymore.
I can't believe this is natural. If it were natural, it would be all over the ranch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it seems fairly obvious that our first order of business here is to get that off to the university and have our contacts there do an analysis on it.
All right.
All right, let's go pack it up.
All right. Hey, you guys. How you
What are you
doing?
looking at today?
We're looking at the elemental analysis on some of the samples that we've recently collected.
We sent them off, had them analyzed at the University of Utah.
This is University of Utah Geophysics.
After the dig near Homestead Two, we got the lab results back on the crystal-like samples we dug up there. So Eric and I couldn't wait to share them with the team.
The interesting thing is, so if you scroll a little bit to the right there, Eric, so we can see what it's got in it. The abundant materials in it are sodium, magnesium. There's a little bit of scandium, not a lot, but a lot of calcium and potassium, and there's a lot of aluminum and iron. Well, if you remember when we analyzed the drill mud, it was the same materials, almost to a T with the percentages. So what we're seeing here is that whatever is inside the mesa where we drilled is also what these white gray lines are that's out there that the multispectral sensor picked up. That's the same mud that's inside the mesa.
Interesting.
But in strips.
Yeah, the mud that's inside the mesa, how did it get out there into the field in the same place in 5 lines? It almost sounds like they were put there.
When we did previous excavation, I didn't notice any gray material like in those big pits that we excavated.
We've dug all over it. The triangle out in the east field, we've dug everywhere. I've never seen that before.
Well, I'm just thinking of those flat pieces of metal that we brought out of the mesa last year, right?
Right.
Some of those materials could be used for spacecraft.
Now, that is an interesting tie-in because 2 of the things that are very important in the materials that came out of the mesa last year, the metal, was aluminum and iron, which we see in these lines, we see aluminum and iron. So is this mud somehow a remnant of whatever these metal flakes are? Did something happen and then some reason or other they come and make lines out of whatever this was? Or were the lines there because of whatever it is that's in the mesa? We have scientifically verified that the strange lines of crystal-like materials we uncovered near the circular anomalies in the field east of Homestead 2 are composed of the same kinds of materials that we pulled out of the mesa.
I don't know if I'm getting through this.
After we ran into whatever this hard object was that the drill couldn't break through deep inside.
These teeth are all perfectly intact.
It makes me think they have to be directly correlated to one another.
The drill tip mud, there are these similarities. I mean, look at the highlighted rows.
Look at the color code that Eric used.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about it, too, is these are actually somewhat conductive materials. So what we're seeing here is you've got the sodium, the magnesium, the aluminum, the potassium, the calcium, the iron. All of those are very good at conducting electricity.
But I guess that begs the question, what in the world are those lines for?
From the multispectral data, you've got the 5 lines diverging on one end, converging to a point down by the tree behind the homestead. Then out here, there's a circle, and then the mesa is right there where that GPR anomaly is, right? It almost looks, when you look at it from the top, like a circuit board. Like it's an electric circuit built in the surface of the ranch to do something. To what, I don't know.
What the hell's a circuit doing out in the middle of the field?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it makes you wonder to what end. If, say, it's like an electrical circuit of some sort, is this like electrical field lines that you can measure with the other equipment, and the multispectral thing is just a side effect that it had on the vegetation and we're able to see it now? Or was it intended that way from the start?
Walking out there, I wouldn't have known there's anything there. I wouldn't have suspected it.
Perfectly hidden.
Yeah. Only people with the advanced technology that we've discovered within the last handful of years could see those lines and even know they were there.
Or they are ancient enough that maybe they were on top of the ground at some point. But that still begs the question, what were they leading to and what were they pointing out?
So we've talked about 2 interpretations, one of them being that it's a marking, it's an indicator, and the other one that I find really interesting is that it is somehow functional.
Yeah. Where would it be coming from and what's it going to? That's the question.
And the discussion's not complete without reminding ourselves here that we are not far from the location where we were told not to dig. There may be something of exotic origin buried underneath the field. We know that it has an interesting elemental composition.
Yes, similar to only one other place we found it on the ranch, and that's inside the mesa by a GPR anomaly. Don't know what this thing is and how it got there. I think it's a mystery. We need to get to the bottom of it.
At this point, it makes sense to just leave it as it is, don't change anything, If we study it, do it non-invasively, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But we need to see what's underneath the entire ranch.
I agree.
Some more studies merited here.
Yeah, I agree. Measurements too. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I'm really surprised and curious as to what has created these lines. Could it be an old structure that's underground? Could it be an old pathway? I mean, we're right here close to Homestead Two as well as the drill site. Are they connected somehow? But I hope it's something important, and I'm anxious to find out.
This is becoming an even more puzzling area of the ranch. I did not expect these results. Looking at the material composition, I'm beginning to think that there's something far more interesting here. I can't help but wonder whether we are in fact dealing with something technological. We have to continue searching.
These lines are absolutely bizarre, and we really need to dig into what they are and if it can help us with our investigation.
We are dealing with forces that are powerful and yet to be explained or understood. It has been exciting to see this team pull together and expand the scope of the investigation to include so many topics that really haven't been addressed at Skinwalker Ranch.
We'll be flying a weather balloon with low-frequency radar. And we're seeing all these strange things in the data.
There's a phenomena that the instruments are passing through.
I mean, what the hell is up there?
So we have something that's got a heat signature. What could be down there? It's a big plane that just flew over us.
Travis, this aircraft is not transponding.
We're being surveilled.